On our boilers, the first thing I want to go over is some of the controls that we have. Here we have our main gas coming into the boiler. Our gas comes in, we go through a gas pressure regulator. This regulates how much gas pressure is going into our boiler. And then we have our controls over here that actually turn on the gas to the boiler when it's being called to fire. When we get a call for fire on a boiler, our controls are right here, and we have a burner control box. What that does, it sends this into a purge first to make sure that we get all the gas out of the boiler, because if there's any residual gas in there and we throw in some more, we could get a bang out of the boiler because there's too much gas inside there. So we relieve everything out, and that's our purge cycle. Then after our purge cycle, the pilot will turn on. You have so many seconds, all according to what this is programmed for. You have so many seconds for it to light. Then we have an ultraviolet control here that when it does see a flame, it'll sense that and it'll turn on our main gas valve. So right now we have a green light that's flashing. The first step will be a pilot light will turn on. Then the flame will turn on with the main gas on. And if everything's running fine, this is how it'll look. If not, the last thing we have is an alarm. That means it did not fire correctly, and that'll turn red and say, hey, we have to do it again. There's something wrong with our firing sequence. So that takes care of our gas control on this unit. Then over here, we have two pressure controls. We have a high limit and a regular pressure control. So if we want to control this to run at 4 pounds of pressure, there's mercury inside here. These will tilt to make contact or not. So when we have the proper pressure in the system, anything below 4 pounds, this will make contact and it'll keep our boiler running. Once we get over it, this should turn off. If this fails, especially on boilers, they always have redundancy, especially on controls, because we don't want the boilers to blow up. Then we have a high limit. So if it goes above 4 pounds, which this one's set for, say we go to 7 or 8 pounds, this one will turn on. When this turns on, it turns the boiler off completely. Then we have another safety. It's around the corner here. It's right over here. And this is a safety also. If the pressure gets too high, it opens up and it relieves the steam pressure out of the boiler. Now Rob was talking about our condensate return. Condensate return comes back into our boiler. He said that the coloring on this is to know that you have a chemical in here to keep this boiler from scaling. This level right here, that's the firing level. If we drop below this and you're down to here on the boiler, we don't want to burn up the tubes inside the boiler or anything, so it'll automatically shut off. It's a low pressure control. There's a float inside here that's moving up and down, and this also turns on our pumps on our condensate, which is behind us right here. So once that drops down to a level on the boiler where it needs more water, that switch turns on, that float over here, that turns this on in turn. We have two pumps down here, and that pumps water back into the boiler. So this is the hot water Rob was talking about on our condensate return, coming back from the whole building, from all the radiators and everything. So this will fill up our boiler to the proper level and keep it running. If we run out of water in here, there is a water makeup on top. This will also turn on, and this takes city water and it fills up this tank with cold city water. That's why we want to make sure that our condensate is coming back and mixing with this properly, because we don't want to send cold water back to the boiler.